Okay, recording has started. So good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the class. So yesterday I explained little bit about this problem. So because of the time, so I had to stop at that point. So let me go through the problem once again from the beginning. So the problem goes like this. Hold on for a second, please. So a tie member of a truss consists of double angle section, each 80 by 80 by 8 millimeter, welded on the opposite sides of a 12 mm thick gusset plate as shown in figure. Design a fillet weld for making the connection in the workshop, remember. So the factor tensile force in the member is 300 kilonewton. Okay, this is the gusset plate of 12 millimeter thickness, and we have two angles. So, and they are connected kilonewton as 2 pu because we have two angles. So each angle will be carrying a force of 150 kilonewton, that is 300 by 2. So 150 kilonewton. So we have to design the connection for 150 kilonewton. That is, designing the connection means we have to find out what is the weld size and what is the length of the weld we need. Okay. So coming to this, so if you have from KLV Ramu, I'm talking about. So open page number 22. So if you open page number 22, ours is ISA 80 by 80 by 8 mm. So if you go to the left column, it says designation. So we have to go for ISA 8080. So under ISA 8080, we have 4 sections of different thicknesses, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay. So ours is ISA 8080 and 8 mm thick. So what is the area of cross section? The area of cross section for that is 1221 millimeters square. Is it not? So after that, if you look at the figure on the top, EXX and CXX values, you see. So what is CXX value here for equal angle for 8 mm thick? It is 22.7 millimeter, and EXX value is 57.3 millimeter. Okay, here I have called those EXX and CXX as D1 and D2 if you look at the notes. Okay, so of course D equal to D1 plus D2, 80 millimeter, that is the size of each leg. So PU equal to 150 kilonewton. And when it comes to the plate material and also the angle material, the steel we are using is Fe 410, for which Fu equal to 410 Newton per millimeter square, and gamma MW equal to 1.25. I got this value from table 5 on page 30. Okay, 1.25 I am using because what kind of weld is this? This is a shop weld. That means the welding is done at the workshop. Okay, that is the reason we are taking 1.25 as per the codal recommendation. So after all, when we say design a welded connection, the main thing we need to do is what is the size of the weld we need and what is the total length of the weld we need. So that's what the design is. Okay, when it comes to the size of the weld, so as per the codal recommendation, what is the minimum size of the weld? That is S minimum as per table 21 on page 78. If you open page 78 of the code book. So again, I just explained this already 2 times and I am explaining this once again for the 3rd time. So minimum size of the weld depends on the thickness of the thicker plate. So in this case, we have two plates. One is of the gusset and the other is of the angle. So angle thickness is 8 millimeter and the gusset plate thickness is 12 mm. So 12 mm comes between 10 millimeter and 20 millimeter. If you look at the table 21. Okay. Second item. So for that, minimum size of the weld, that is S minimum, is 5 millimeter. So that's what 5 millimeter is. Next, what is the maximum size of the weld? If you go to page number 80 and refer figure 17b, so the maximum size of the weld should be 3/4 of the thickness of the angle. Okay, what is the thickness of the angle? That is 8 millimeter. 3/4 of it is 6 millimeter. That is the maximum size. So E minimum is 5 millimeter and E maximum is 6 millimeter, and you can choose any of the values in between, including these two. Here we don't have in between values. So in the previous problem, I used 6 millimeter weld size, but in this case, what I'm doing is I'm using 5 millimeter weld size. Okay. So next, once the weld size is fixed, the next thing is we need to find out what is the length of the weld required. Length of the weld required depends on what kind of force each end takes. Okay. So, of course, each member is subjected to a tensile force, and this is the area which is contributing towards this weld, and more area is contributing to this weld. That means more area means more force. Obviously, we need longer weld when compared to this. So we need to find out how much design force this weld has to take and how much design force this weld has to take. I have called those values as P1 and P2. Okay, let us find out what is P1 and P2. So P1 and P2 are the two unknowns. So we have P1 plus P2 equal to Pu. That is P1 plus P2 equal to 150 kilonewton. So I have called that as equation 1. So I need one more equation, okay, to solve for P1 and P2 unknowns. So for that, what I do is I'm going to take moments of all the forces about this line. That gives rise to Pu multiplied by this distance. Okay, that is D2 distance, with plus sign, minus P1 multiplied by this distance, which is 80 millimeter. That is the size of the leg. Okay. So finally, I got P1 equal to 42.56 and P2 equal to, of course, by substituting the value of P1 in this equation, we get P2 equal to 150 minus of P1. That is P2 equal to 150 minus of 42.56. That is equal to 107.44 kilonewton. So we have to design the weld on the top to take care of a design force of 42.56, and at the bottom here we have to design the weld for a value of P2, which is equal to 107.44 kilonewton. Okay, so let us design the weld one at a time. So design strength of the weld of length LW1, this length LW1, that is the effective length LW1, equal to, with small l is the effective length, equal to LW1, that is the length of the weld, multiplied by the throat thickness, will give you the throat area. That is the area of resistance. That area offers resistance against external force. So that area multiplied by the design strength of the weld will give you the resisting force, which resists the external force of P1 in this case. Okay. So what is FWD? As per the code on page 79 under 10.5.7.1.1, FWD equal to FWN divided by gamma MW. So what is FW1? That is Fu by root 3, where Fu equal to 410 divided by 1.25, which is divided by gamma MW, which is 1.25 for sharp welding, if you look here, for sharp welding, this gamma MW value is 1.25. So once we have this, finally we get this value in terms of LW1, that is the minimum effective length of the weld. Okay, so by equating this equation with this equation, we get LW1 equal to 64 millimeter. That is the minimum effective length. Okay, as per the codal recommendation, so the total length should be effective length plus at least 2 times the weld size. So that is 2s. That is equal to 64 plus 2 multiplied by 5. 5 millimeter is the weld size here. So totally we got 74 millimeter. Therefore, total length of the weld is 75 millimeter. However, we have to go ahead and we have to give 80 millimeter length here. Okay, I'm going to tell you why we have to give 80 millimeter. Because if you remember what we discussed in the previous example, so whenever we provide two parallel welds, okay, the length of weld on each side should be at least equal to the transverse distance between those two welds. So what is the distance between these two welds? So it is 80 millimeter. So LW1 should be at least 80 millimeter. So you are going to provide 80 millimeter after checking for that condition. In this problem, I have not checked for the condition, but when you just practice it, check for that condition and provide 80 millimeter in this case. Okay. Next, similarly, design strength of the weld of length LW2 on the other side. Here also we need to find out what is the length of the weld we need. Okay. So capital LW1 is the total length which has the effective length plus 2s times 2s. So coming back to this, on the other side, so LW2 is the effective length of the weld. Okay, so that is 0.663 LW2. So you are going to do exactly the same way you did for the above case. Okay, that is the throat area, which is 0.7 times the thickness of the throat, that is thickness 0.7 times the thickness of the or the size of the weld, that gives the thickness of the throat. Okay, multiplied by the effective length multiplied by the design strength of the weld, which is FWD. That should be equated to whatever P2 value is, that is 107.44. So once we do that, we got the value of LW2 equal to 162 millimeter. Okay, so what is the actual length? So 162 plus 2 times the size of the weld, so 172. Say LW2 equal to 175 millimeter. So once you write a final figure, you have to show this equal to not 75. You should show this as 80 millimeter and this as 175 millimeter total weld length. I hope this is clear. In addition to that, you need to do one more check, which I did for the previous example. Whenever you are giving a turn here, so you have to give a turn of size at least equal to 2 times the weld size. 2 times the weld size, it is 5 millimeter is the weld size. 2 times of 5 is 10 millimeter. Okay, I have given 12 millimeter. You can change that to 10 and above. Any value 10 and above is fine. Okay. So where did we get this 2s turn? Again, open page number 78 of the code. So instead of 12 mm, you make this 10 and 10. Okay, that is the minimum. So open page number 78 of the code book. Okay, on page number 78, first column on the top, it says 10.5 welds and welding, 10.5.1 general, and just below that 10.5.1.1, that is end returns. It says, so fillet welds terminating at the ends or sides of parts should be written continuously around the corners for a distance of not less than twice the size of the weld, unless it is impractical to do so. Here we can give a return here. That means from this set we have to give a return weld of length at least equal to 2 times the size of the weld. That is, at least this value or this length of the weld should be 10 millimeter. Is it clear to you? So if you give beyond that, that's fine. That is your choice. So this completes the problem. So we will go with the next problem. Actually, rarely any problem on butt weld appears. Okay, only once this problem has appeared in the examination. So other than that, almost always it is fillet weld, the design of fillet weld. No butt weld, no other weld. But somehow this problem appeared in the examination. So that's why I have solved this problem. Okay, so let us go through this problem first. So 18 mm thick plate is joined to a 16 millimeter thick plate by 200 millimeter effective butt weld. So what it means is there are two plates. One is of 18 millimeter and the other is of 16 millimeter. Okay, we are connecting them through a butt weld or groove weld. One more name for butt weld is groove weld. Okay. Determine the strength of joint if a double V butt weld is used. This is a double V, one V, this is another V. Okay. And second part is a single V butt weld is used. Of course, take Fu equal to 410 and 410 Newton per millimeter square, and gamma MW equal to 1.25. Okay. So here I have written a note. The size of butt weld shall be specified by the effective throat thickness as per 10.5.2.4, page 78. Okay. So here under 10.5.2.4 on page 78 of the code, it says the size of butt weld shall be specified by the effective throat thickness. So what is effective throat thickness? Again, if you on the same page, if you go to the next column, at the bottom 10.5.4.2, the effective length of butt weld shall be taken as the length of the continuous full size weld, but not less than 4 times the. That is about the length, sorry. Okay, so not that. Go to 10.5.3.3. 10.5.3.3 on page 78. It says the effective throat thickness of a complete penetration butt weld shall be taken as the thickness of the thinner part joined, and that of an incomplete penetration butt weld shall be taken as the minimum thickness of the weld metal common to the part joint, excluding reinforcements. So in this case, so complete penetration is assured. That means the weld fills up the whole depth. So in this case, we have to consider the thickness of the thinner plate for the calculation purpose. So coming to this, a double V butt or groove weld, that is this one. So in the case of double V butt weld, complete penetration of the weld takes place. That's what has happened. So therefore, throat thickness T suffix T equal to thickness of the thinner plate as per the code 10.5.3.3. So what is the thickness of the throat? Thickness of the throat is thickness of the thinner plate, which is 16 millimeter. So that's why I have taken TT equal to 16 millimeter, and actually that is the size of the weld. That is, throat thickness itself is the size of the weld. So then design strength of the weld equal to effective throat area. okay, multiplied by Fy divided by gamma mw. Remember, here we are not taking Fu value, instead we are taking Fy value. Okay, so if you look at this note, the design strength of the groove weld in tension or compression is governed by yield, not the ultimate value Fu. Therefore, Fy is considered instead of Fu in the above equation. So that means above equation means this is the equation we have. So we consider Fy value but not Fu. So once we have this equation continues here. Design strength of the weld equal to length of the weld, that is 200 millimeter, which is perpendicular to the paper. So where did I get the 200 millimeter? Look at the problem. Thick plate is joined to a 16 millimeter thick plate by 200 mm. Effective butt weld, that means that is the width of the plate. Okay. So 200 millimeter multiplied by the thickness of the throat, which is 16 millimeter. That is the thickness of the thinner plate. Fy value for Fe410 is 250 divided by gamma mw equal to 1.25, because that's what given in the problem here. And the gamma mw equal to 1.25, we take that value. Okay, convert the value into kilonewton by dividing that value by 1000. So finally, design strength of the weld is 640 kilonewton. Is it clear to you? So this is double V groove weld or butt weld. What is the next case? A single V butt weld is used. That is the second case. If we go to the next case, that is the second case, it says a single V butt weld. In this case, if you remember, or if you see here, there is a space. There is no complete penetration of the weld material. So as a result, the throat thickness will be not the thickness of the thinner plate, but it is less than the thickness of the thinner plate. So what is that value? So I'm going to show you that. So in the case of single V butt weld, incomplete penetration takes place. That's what it is. Therefore, effective throat thickness Tt equal to 5/8 of the thickness of the thinner plate. So 16 millimeter is the thickness of the thinner plate, 18 versus 16, 16, and 5/8 is the value we need to consider. So this throat thickness will be equal to 10 millimeter. That is the throat thickness. So once we have the throat thickness multiplied by the width of the plate, which runs perpendicular to the paper, you will get the area of the throat. That is here. That is the effective throat area, that is given by Lw multiplied by Tt. And of course, Fy divided by gamma mw is the design strength of the weld. Okay. So Lw is 200. Thickness of the throat is 10 millimeter. From here, we got that value. Okay. Fy is 250 divided by 1.25. Therefore, design strength of the weld equal to 400 kilonewton. So same plate, you are providing, so double V butt weld, the strength is 640 kilonewton, that is the design strength. Instead of double V, if you provide single V, the strength is 400 kilonewton. So out of these two, which one is better? This weld is always better, that is double V weld is better. Okay, so this completes the design of welded connection. But there is one more thing called the design of bracket connection. Okay. So that bracket connection part, I have sent the notes to you on WhatsApp. Okay. And I am going to take up the class not now, because that is going to take very long time to explain. Okay. So starting from the next class, we'll cover the bracket connection design. So before we go, guys, just I need to familiarize you with certain parts of the code as well as certain things about the steel table. Okay, please open the steel table, KLV round. Please open it. So, KLV Ramu, open the initial page. That is page number 2. Do you see rolled steel beams? That is the I section. Okay. That section used for beams as well as for columns. Okay. So, we have different types of beams. Indian Standard ISJB, that is Indian Standard Junior Beam. If you look at the leftmost column, it says ISJB 150. That means Indian Standard Junior Beam. 150 refers to the height of the beam. That is the overall depth of the beam, ISJB. Similarly, if you go down, you will come across ISLB 75. That is Indian Standard Light Beam. So further you go down, you see ISMB, Indian Standard Medium Beam. If you go to the next page, you come across ISWB, that is Indian Standard Wide Beam. If you go down further in the same column, you come across ISHB, that is Indian Standard Heavy Beam. Okay, so let us take one of the beams. Let us take IS WB 500. Just an example. IS WB 500. 500 stands for the overall depth of the beam. Okay. Again, if you go horizontally along that line, that is 933.4, you will see. What is that 933.4? If you look at the above part in the same column, if you go to the top, it says weight per meter in Newton. That means 933.4 is the weight of the ISWB 500 per meter length of the beam. Okay. Again, if you go to the next column horizontally, that is 12,122. What is that? That is the area of cross section of the beam. What is the unit? Again, go to the top. Look at the top. It says sectional area A in millimeter square. So area of cross section of the beam is 12,122 millimeter square. Then if you go to the next column, it says 500. That is the depth of the section. That's why it is ISWB 500. 500 represents the depth, overall depth of the section. Next, if you go to the next column, it says width of flange 250 millimeter. What is width of flange? If you look at the figure on the top, if you look at the bottom of the figure, you see capital B. So that width, there is a line with two arrows at the ends, horizontal line. So that is the width of the flange. Of course, this I section has two parts, mainly two flanges, one at the top and the other at the bottom. Okay, those horizontal components. And the middle part, like a stem, that is called the web. Okay. Again, coming back to ISWB 500, it says thickness of the flange 14.7 millimeter. Okay, that is TF. So we have two flanges for this section, top flange and the bottom flange. So T suffix F, if you look at the figure, and the thickness is 14.7. And the thickness of the web is 9.9 millimeter. Do you see that? So thickness of the web part, that is T suffix W, is 9.9 millimeter. If you go further, to the next column, it gives Ixx, that is the moment of inertia of the I section about the horizontal axis. That is 52,290.9 millimeter to the power of 4. That's not it. If you go to the top, it says moment of inertia Ixx millimeter to the power of 4 multiplied by 10 to the power of 4. That means the moment of inertia of the section is 52290.9 multiplied by 10 to the power of 4. That is the value of the moment of inertia, Ixx. Similarly, Iyy is 2987.8 multiplied by 10 to the power of 4. Okay. Next, radii of gyration, that is Rx value is 202.7 millimeter. Similarly, radii of gyration Ryy is 49.6 millimeter. So how did we get Rxx value? That is equal to square root of Ixx divided by area of cross section of the beam. Similarly, Ryy equal to square root of Iyy divided by area of cross section of the beam. Okay. Similarly, if you go to the next column, it says Zxx, that is section modulus, 887 multiplied by 10 to the power of 3. If you go to the top of the column, it says Zxx equal to millimeter cube multiplied by 10 cube. So section modulus for that section is 887 multiplied by 10 cube. Similarly, Zyy equal to 10 cube. So radius at root, radius at toe. So radius at root, 12 millimeter. So what is that radius? Again, if you look at the figure on the top, you'll see R1 value. That is the radius. That is the junction between the web and the flange. There is going to be a quadrant of a circle, that is quarter of a circle. Okay. So that radius will be how much? That radius is 12 millimeter. Okay. Similarly, R2 is 6 millimeter. So look at the flange in the figure. At the end of the flange, you will see R2. So that radius is 6 millimeter. So, but in design, we don't use R2 value, but you need to concentrate on R1 value. So you will come across R1 usefulness when you go for design of beams. Okay. And slope of flange 96 degrees. So again, we are not worried about that part. And also H1, H2, B1, C, G, and G1. Okay. Those things we are not worried about. Okay, guys. So that is the way it is. Then this is about the I section. Let us go to the angle section. To go to the angle section, so please open page number 20 of the steel table. I hope you are on that page. It says rolled steel equal angles. Equal angles means if you look at the figure, size of one leg is represented by capital A and the other leg is represented by capital B. Here capital A equal to capital B. That means it is an equal angle. Again, come to the leftmost column of that page. It says ISA 2020. Okay. That means size of each leg is 20 millimeter. First leg is 20 and the second leg is 20 millimeter. And in that angle, we have two sizes. So that is one angle of 20 by 20 is of 3 millimeter thickness and the other is 4 millimeter thickness. Okay. Then what is the sectional area? A, 112 millimeter square. For 4 millimeter thickness, it is 145 millimeter square. Then what is the weight per meter? So for ISA 2020, 3 millimeter thick, it is 8.9 Newton per millimeter. Same with 4 millimeter thickness, it is 10.8 Newton per meter. So center of gravity distances, Cxx equal to Cyy. So if you look at the figure, from the bottom, go up for a distance equal to Cxx, draw a horizontal line. That's where center of gravity, that is somewhere along that line, center of gravity is located. So to get the exact location of the centroid, no, I don't say center of gravity, centroid. So even horizontally, you go for a distance of Cyy, and there you draw a vertical line where, call it as Yy, where xx and yy lines meet is the centroid of this area, angle section of the angle section. Okay. So because it is an equal angle, Cxx equal to Cyy, that is equal to 5.9 millimeter for ISA 2020. Similarly, Exx equal to Eyy, that is equal to 14.1 millimeter. So again, it is an equal angle. Moment of inertia about xx axis equal to moment of inertia about yy axis. So that is equal to 0.4 multiplied by 10 to the power of 4. If you look at the top of the column, it says 10 to the power of 4 multiplied by millimeter to the power of 4. Okay. Similarly, IUU, if you look at the figure, IUU and IVV, that is another axis. So because we are, in case of angle sections, we consider those two angles because VV axis is the weakest axis about which the angle buckles. Okay, that's why these two axes are considered and the moment of inertia with respect to those two axes are given. Okay, similarly, radius of gyration, if you go to the same line that jumps to the next page, so Rxx equal to Ryy equal to 5.8 millimeter. RUU equal to, that is the radius of gyration with respect to U axis is 7.3 millimeter. With respect to VV axis is 3.7 millimeter. And modulus of section modulus is Zxx, that is equal to Zyy equal to 0.3 multiplied by 10 cube. Similarly, radius R1 and R2, etc. Okay, so these are of different sections. It goes down in the next, left column as ISA 25-25, ISA 30-30, 35-35, etc. It goes down and it goes to the next page as well. So the highest size of ISA equal angle is 200 by 200. So that is the maximum size available in the market for an angle section. Okay. So of course, ISA 200 by 200 is available in 4 different thicknesses. One is 12 millimeter, 15 millimeter, 18 millimeter, and finally 25 millimeter thickness. Is it clear to you? Then if you go to page number 24 of the steel table, it says rolled steel angles unequal, that is unequal angles. Look at the top on page 24. It gives dimensions and properties. Unequal angles means capital A is not equal to capital B. So let us take one of the sections. We have ISA 30-20, ISA 40-25, ISA 45-30, etc. It goes down like that, ISA 65-45. If you go down further, it says ISA 75-50, ISA 80-50. Again, if you go to the next page, on page 26, again ISA 90-60, similarly, several sizes. Maximum size of the unequal angle available in the market is ISA 200 by 150. So let us take one of the angles, say ISA 90-60. On 26, that is the first item. So ISA 90-60, one leg size is, that is larger leg size is 90 millimeter and smaller leg is 60 millimeter, and it is available in 4 different thicknesses: 6 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter, and 12 millimeter. So if you go to the next column, for 6 millimeter thickness, area of cross section is 865 millimeter square, and weight of the angle section is 66.7 Newton per meter. Is it clear to you? Then if you go to the next column, it gives centroidal distances CXX and CYY. So in the previous equal angle section, CXX equal to CYY, because here it is an unequal angle. CXX and CYY value differ. CXX equal to 28.7 and CYY equal to 13.9 millimeter. So what is CXX? Look at the figure. And what is CYY? Again, look at the figure. You will have 2 different values. Similarly, EXX and EYY values change. Okay. And similarly, IXX and IY value differ. IXX value is 70.6 multiplied by 10 to the power of 4 millimeter to the power of 4. IYY is 25.2 multiplied by 10 to the power of 4. Similarly, IUU and IBB value always differ. They cannot be the same value. So if you go further, RXX and RYY value differ, and RUU and RVB value should be different. Then ZXX and ZYY value differ. So in case of unequal angles, and we don't worry about tan A, R1, R2 and IXY as of now for our design. Okay, I hope guys this is clear to you. Okay, so whenever we pick up design problems, so you need to refer all these values. So before referring, you are supposed to know what is what. Okay, with this, so I'm concluding this, and starting from the next class, so I'm going to start again the welded connection. Okay, a welded connection design with brackets. Okay, so brackets means I don't have to give you any theory or any explanation for this. I simply jump to problems and I will start explaining the problems. Okay, and notes for that bracket connection, I put that notes yesterday on WhatsApp. So in 2022 group. So please download it and take a printout of it and keep it for you to study. Okay. Thank you guys. See you in the next class. I think that is on Monday. Okay. So as of now, you can drop off. Thank you. Be safe.